Narthaki Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Narthaki Podcast. I'm Anita Ratnam, and today the guest in the studio is the man of the hour. It's Vaibhav Arekar. He wears many different hats, but most importantly, he is a teacher, choreographer, and a performer of the moment. He is so in demand at festivals, international invites for choreography, and it's my pleasure to have you in the studio, Vaibhav. Thank you.
Namaste. It's a pleasure here too.
So I wanted to start with the fact that, we talk of riyaz
Right.
or abhyasa. And I never had more than 2 or 2.5 hours of class
Right.
when I was growing up. And even now, I think our climate doesn't allow us to have, like the West wants, 8 hours from morning to night. But what do you think of the word riyaz, and how have you applied it for yourself? Not your company, but for yourself as a dancer.
For me, my point of riyaz was similar. Like you dance, practice adabus, and then you go to a class. Depends on what show you have. Typically, margam items at those
Right,
times.
right.
But when I came out of teaching college, I was looking at riyaz, and I did take inspiration from the musicians of Hindustani musicians of doing riyaz. And then I realized you can't keep doing adabus for 8 hours or a margam constantly, And then they're looking at sound. They're looking only nadin dhinna to be played for 1 hour, kinds, So I started looking at one adabu that you keep looking at within, see how it moves. Also, I think the way we learn, like even by the time I learned, it wasn't one-to-one classes until I did a solo performance. But I learned it in a group of 10 or 12 of us. And so there's kind of a uniform way of learning things and teaching things. Then I think it became important to look at who I am, why am I moving, how am I moving. So my riyaz started changing at that point of time, of increasing. But I don't think we can really dance with that 4 hours and 5 hours beyond that. We have to take a break.
We have to take a break. I think our climate, our geography, even the way we expect our dancers to give time,
Yeah.
because they're now doing so many things. So are you harder on yourself? Do you put more expectation on yourself as a performer than your students?
Yes. Let me be very honest here. I started teaching at 21 because my guru, Dr. Rele, asked me to be a lecturer at Nalanda Nritya Kala Mahavidyalaya. By the time I was 30, I realized that I am telling them a lot of things, but I am not practicing it because I didn't have the time to practice it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wanting to do all those things, travel, look at the world and see how those things shift shift me as a performer, and get these shifts into the performance. And I was doing theater with that time, and I thought the way they think, I'm not thinking like that, and I need time for it. So I moved out at that point of time. And so I started saying it has to be me, my riyaz first. And of course, I am still harder because I love to be a performer. My teaching happened and I love teaching, but I don't have a general class. I think I didn't want to spend that time because there's fantastic teaching happening around. I said, let me just focus on performance and see what it means. So I am still hard on myself. I do my riyaz apart from the riyaz with my dancers.
Today's dancers, your company, you have a couple of people who have been with you from the beginning. But as you bring new people into the company, today's young people are looking for speed, visibility, and somehow self-expression. So has your approach to the teaching changed since you started a company, say, 18 years ago?
I think definitely. And for one, in the company have dancers who have worked, have studied with somebody else for quite some time. Only I think 3 or 4 have been with me, have trained with me from the beginning. Some of them have come from my friends who were in Pune and things like that. So I think somehow they come for an exposure. That's true.
Mm.
I think that is what draws them to say, okay, there is exposure. Apart from seeing good dance, there are few who come say, I am not looking at performance, but I just want to learn from you. Then it's different. But I feel I have to change. Also, my riyaz has changed. Like once we were only doing a whole margam, adabus margam. But now we're looking at making it more interesting for them. 1 hour, and after 2 hours, I have to take a break and say, now you can watch your phones and come back.
Yeah.
Kinds, Like I know they will be after that, but 2 hours is something that I said, we have to meditate. Let's be there. Or till from 10 to 2, we don't take a break. But do something or the other,
Mm.
And so keep it interesting, moving. You can't be disinterested. And also, I think we have got to change. I think pedagogical change is also important, which I think I'm getting in as I teach them.
Is this a wonderful time to be a male dancer in India?
Absolutely.
I was going to say that. It's a wonderful time.
It is, because like Gautam was dancing, and I said, Gautam, this is because India has changed, and people can appreciate male bodies, male dancing. Look at the season now, and they're of course good dancers, but I think it's the best time for male dancers.
So that's what I said. You're the man of the moment. So when you travel overseas, like you were in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
to transfer your choreography onto 3 dancers,
Yes.
maybe more, how does that approach change?
I did 2 workshops before, intensive with them. I did a work called Anchi Spoke, and those were workshops that I did. I think most times I've found dancers abroad are carrying a kind of emotional baggage of what Bharatanatyam means, And I can understand that they can't just take in, I can change things here and say, okay, I'm sorry, I come back to something that is there. But for them, it is not so. I did a similar workshop in Europe for 2 weeks. And I find that they are looking at Bharatanatyam in a very old fashioned way. They are not looking at it as an evolving art. And they're afraid to do that. So we just spoke of what can change, what you can experiment with. And all experimentation does not have to go on stage. That's what they don't realize.
Yes.
That it has to be for going on stage. I said, no, I will still dance probably a jati the way it is. But I've experimented of what can happen to the jati, when can I dance it, how do I look at the transitions, and are the transitions from my life that I feel this is important, my body's changing, am I using that? So I think those workshops were about that, and not about just teaching a piece. Even the choreography that I did in Bay Area was not the choreography that I'd set here. They themselves choreographed those pieces. I was directing it. Of course, it was my concept that they worked on. And they kept coming back, and then you fashion them, direct them. So I think that is more important in my workshops that I did.
Bombay is a city, Mumbai is a city known for money, business, cinema, and theatre. All 3 very vibrant.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for dance. But what would you say are the advantages of living in a city like Bombay as a dancer, and not in the density of Chennai or Bangalore, or not in the political atmosphere of Delhi?
Delhi. I think the democracy of thinking, of creativity, is something very important. I am not conditioned by saying this is what it is, Like I worked in theater because I've always seen theater around me in Marathi theater. Then we, at those days where Chavildas movement is experimental theater coming up, and all those impressions, and you carry that experimentation is important. You look at your own form, but not the rigidity that it talks of when you are outside. That happens when I now shifted to Pune, I find the difference, which I never realized before. In Bombay, I always grew up with, my neighbor was a Sindhi, my upstairs neighbors was a Christian, all my friends were from Palakkad. So I never realized that why they drink filter coffee and I have chai in my house. You just grow speaking Hindi, and then so obviously it opens up. My sensibilities are very different, And then seeing cinemas of all kinds, all those things I think come when you're performing, dancing, creating, choreographing. I think Bombay has. I think I would anytime choose Bombay. It's truly cosmopolitan.
I agree, but I want to come back to the fact of what did you learn during your time under Kanak Rele?
I must say that though I loved dance, I didn't have any exposure to any kind of arts in my family. So it was at Nalanda that I got to really see Bharatanatyam. We had traditional masters those days. So at one point we were learning, and she was kind of like, she would say this is Orthodox Bharatanatyam. I mean, of course, that's a term that we can always talk about differently. But yet she looked at it, she wouldn't change things. The masters would teach that. But with Kanak Ben, when I came under her tutelage, post my post graduation, one thing was she started on Abhinay training. And that came from her, of course, Kathakali training, and also the act of storytelling. I think I draw that still when I'm doing a Bharatanatyam piece, that once upon a time, and then you take time to establish characters, look at how it feels. I think that really came with her. And of course, Abhinay training, I can't deny that. She really, I think 2 years made me train, made me go on to Karna Sadhakam with Gopal sir and all that.
So what would you say today that some of the practices of that generation that we are losing or that we've lost?
I think because of the pace that we are living in, that I have to tell my dancers it's okay not to be so fast. It's okay that you can't, your visibility really can't last long. If that is not necessary, there are people who live without that visibility also. I'm okay with you doing that, but that is not the truth, especially because of the social media and all that. I said that is an illusionary world. You can live on that, but don't depend on that. You know, create something more sustainable in your personal lives. And I think that kind of practice happened uh, with the older generation. And also the idea of manodharmam has changed. Like I think it's beautiful, and it's there all over. You know? So that is going away. I feel.
Do you have a practice, Vaibhav, when you're surrounded by so much noise and people and young dancers having expectations from you? Do you have a retreat or a way that you go away from things and center, or some Maun Vrat or some kind of Vipassana type silence? How do you recharge with the kind of noisy life that all dancers live in?
Yeah, yeah. I have not done it, but at this moment when I'm speaking to you, I feel I need to do it. I'm going to take a break post March for one retreat of 15 days of taking a break for the body. And also for the next full year, I'm not going to create anything important. I just want to watch, read, look at things. I will work on the things that I have with myself of putting up shows, but not create anything. But I don't think I've taken a retreat of that kind. Uh, I think I've done enough of all that fun before. This is what I've asked for. So I keep telling myself, if I've asked for this and it is coming to you now, you should work at it. But I need to take a break.
So tell me about, what would you say would be the three main challenges of trying to sustain a dance company
Ah,
emotionally, financially, artistically?
most is finances. If I had finances, I could have been much more comfortable because you're trying to sustain. Uh, but I should be honest, though I say it's a professional dance company, these dancers have been with for many, many years, but I don't pay them per month. I can't afford to pay them. So they have been, it's only plain love for Bharatanatyam, for dance, and for
For
me
you,
too,
yeah.
of course, which keeps them with me. But the thing is, I've also shifted to Pune because most of my dancers who've been with me for 10 years somehow couldn't travel to Mumbai. And they're all from Pune based. And two of them could shift. So I shifted. I said, but if this is important, why not do that shift? They have their own earnings. So if when I have rehearsals, I manage their timings. Like evenings are free. Most of them have to teach. Or mornings are free. Then I schedule my rehearsals accordingly. And otherwise, I've told them that if y'all are free, practice is a must.
Yes.
I'm here, there or not in with taking. So they go and practice. They practice for 4 hours or 5 hours every day. So when we put up a work, they're already in the fashion, but it's finances are difficult. I wish I could have that. Artistically, yes, because you keep producing something because there's a company. And it demands so much of creative excellence, which is about a company and an ensemble work. But I feel that is still manageable. If I had the finances, that's the most difficult part. Emotionally, it's draining. You give so much out, you're giving away something. So that is where, especially because I want to be a soloist too, till I can dance. And I know I have to, as a soloist, I need a lot of time to work on myself too. So I have to keep balancing that.
For many of us, women especially, we feel dance is like a cannibal. It just demands and demands
Yeah.
and demands. It will never be, it's never enough how much you give it. And at one generation, there was a generation who decided either not to get married or to be married and not have children.
Yeah.
But then we went into a generation where people wanted to have everything,
Mm.
like experience everything. And, but do you feel that it is not very conducive if you want to have what you this, that, and everything else, like your family, your children, elderly care, and to be a dancer? I'm just asking you a question.
Yeah, I of course this comes to me when these dancers have got married now and want are thinking about children, family, and things. Of course, the priorities have changed, but I tell them one thing: that don't think from the point of dance, because if you were a great star, if you're going to earn great amount of money, then I would have said decide.
Decide.
Here, there's no fame money really. I mean, there's fame, but that is not the fame that we really look at. So I said, don't take a call on what is going to give you happiness. And as for dancing, I'm there after you deliver your child. If you want to go in the family way and want to have a child, we are there to get you back.
Yeah.
Practices. The company is there. So don't think of that. But otherwise, you have to take a choice of what is happiness for you. It's a personal choice, but it's demanding. And because it's physically demanding, it's
That
constantly about the body, to keep it in tune.
always. And then once I have dancers who are married and whose in-laws are saying, even though I pay them well,
Yeah.
when they
Yes, yes, I
perform.
know.
But the point is, it's not all the time.
Yeah.
So when are you going to have children?
Yes.
When is that going to come? And so my two dancers came to me and said, my in-laws are pestering me. My parents are not, my in-laws are pestering. I said, look, you take your call.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a cultural thing. I was just hearing something last week about how becoming a parent is important, because they tell you that is what your life is about.
Exactly. Especially for women.
Women,
Yes.
And I know all these dancers who face that constantly.
Yeah. Now, when you start to create a work, Vaibhav, in creating a new work, do you think of this is what the audience will like, or this is what I want to do, and I hope the audience will like it? How do you make that balance?
It's both the ways. For one, I have to be true to what I want to create, whether it resonates within me, even if I'm doing amalgam pieces. I only choose a piece if it resonates, not in just resonates, whether I want to dance it out, if there's something in it that I can say differently. For me, those pieces have not just come because they're part of the tradition. It's easier to choose a piece, but I feel we're losing out in just dancing without thinking. So unless I find my lived experience in that piece, it doesn't work for me. I can't borrow like theater, because there's a generic naika and a nayaka in these padams, javlis, varnams. So if I don't have anything to say in that, what am I doing? If I choose, let's say, a play to be translated or a character from the Mahabharata, then I'm looking at that character doing those things. So I have something to hang on to and do something. So that's my first point. But to be very honest, I also feel we are losing an audience, and I must create a piece that an audience can look at, understand a bit. Uh, like my even new piece is abstraction, but for dancers, some of them may feel it's a little more simplified. But I feel there's a non-dance audience who's not coming to dance.
Yes.
And how do I get to them? So when we did a zero show, we only had 7 people who were non-dancers, not nobody from the artistic background, no arts. They were architects, builders, and I wanted them to respond to it. And what would they feel about the piece? Did they feel interested or no? And of course, but some kind of leaning towards arts or performing arts. So I feel my work also has to resonate with that. I not resonate, they have to realize and understand that Bharatanatyam is interesting, because I work with Bharatanatyam.
So when you are responding to a Tanjavur Padavarnam written by male Natyacharyas with the woman character in mind,
Yeah.
how do you approach it? Because there's gender, there's identity, you bring all those kinds of intersections
Yes.
into one of those traditional pieces that is done, the Lovelorn Naika.
Yeah.
So how do you approach that? How would you find something of yourself?
It took me a long time. To be honest, I didn't dance any of these Naika Padams for almost 10 years. I used to dance Anjaneya Raghuramadu, Dashavarams, and also I was doing thematic work, so I could balance it whenever a solo performance came in. But when I became a full-time soloist and into serious margams, I had a problem. I said, what do I do? And I was hearing a lecture on Jnaneshwara. There was a lecture on Jnaneshwari, and he says, why does Jnaneshwara want to become Jnana Bai? Why does, because the most beautiful Virahinis in the Abhanga tradition written by Jnaneshwara. And all male poets have written about Virahinis. Somehow, though I was drawn to Bhakti, I was reading Bhakti, then I met my teacher, Mandakini Trivedi, who said, why don't you look inside? What does it mean to be the Naika? And then you start finding how Naika is a tattva. It is not the gender that I see. So I had to find the tattva in this body, of course. But I feel then I was okay with it. I started finding what is this Naika, and what is this yearning. Because the yearning is not about this gender female who's yearning for this male gender. But that's a principle that we're looking at. And I feel then I found a comfort zone. Though I might do a Shringara piece in that, I'm going to Nansu Masayaka, but I find comfort. In fact, there's beauty in that Viraha now.
Vaibhav, there are people who say, oh, classical dance can express anything. But I feel that to express anything, we have cinema, we have theatre, we have writing, we have prose, we have poetry. I don't think classical dance can express anything and everything. Right? What are your views on that?
I totally agree with you. I don't think we can speak everything. like I'm stumped every time I said, how can I speak this in Bharatanatyam? There's a beautiful poetry. Sometimes you just it's called it's on actually on Radha.
Mm.
But I said you can't translate this poetry. It's a masterpiece, Kanupriya, by Dharmavir Bharati. It feels like dance, but the moment you start moving to it, I said, no, this is not dance. You can't dance it. So even at something that we've danced for years together as Radha Krishna, I feel it can't be translated. So wise, everything in this world can't be danced. Like my piece Vyoga, it took me almost a year to even conceptualize. We're talking of social media, we're talking of urban world in a way. And I think it's the first time I've even dared to come to a contemporary topic and saying, where can I fit this into the language that I know? But I'm sure we can't. Like the way cinema can do it, you can't take inspiration from cinema and say, okay, I can do this together. We have to look at social media and the phone, and it's okay. Like I'm in camera and I keep looking at your phone, I keep looking at the phone, and it's caught. Here, if I do that, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So it can't be done, I
Yeah.
don't think so. But there's so much we can do.
Exactly.
Why not explore all that?
The power of that solo form that's able to create worlds within worlds.
Your Million Sita speaks so much about this world.
Yes, about the world with just 3 people on stage. But it is a continuous process.
Yes.
Of how to keep that engaged. And I work visually, so I am. I would say I automatically come to that. But now I feel there is a lack of spatial intelligence that my young dancers have. They're very bright, very capable, good technique. But when I take them into a different space and I say, okay, now we have to walk this space, the work in the space, and I say, what do you feel? I have to actually handhold them and lead them.
Yeah.
They're not, or site specific work, outdoors. I feel that, do you feel that our own training has to change?
I agree with this because I feel you might say pedagogical changes or no, but since spaces are changing, we need to do that awareness. Like when I was doing yoga, I said, where do I get this? I wanted to show an impression, and I went to the San Francisco Museum of Art, and I looked at the painting. I said, oh, this is what I want to do. I mean, it's not that replication. I just wanted to act one to be about paintings, urban paintings. However I do it, good, bad, I mean, that is next level.
Correct.
So until they go and engage themselves, but I think our training has to have, like in my dancers now, they're doing with some painters in this weekend. I said, it's okay. And there's no tension to do Bharatanatyam. Nobody's going to come and judge you. And they have to they do a show with as impressions of what do the paintings tell you? Anything with the paintings. And the painter says, please don't represent my work. Do anything with the painting, respond to it. So I think that kind of training is important constantly, but not just as one time.
Yeah.
But the dancers should also do it. No? Like I've opened the doors to my own dancers, but I don't feel they continue pursue it. And I feel those don't reach out there. They don't reach that point.
They don't reach that
There's
point.
some madness to it. No, you could stop dancing, creating.
But then why don't, when those who stop dancing, Vaibhav, they don't translate into audience?
But, oh God,
that is such a disappointment for me. We end up talking to the converted all the time. And you said before that we don't have an audience outside dance.
Yeah.
I saw a beautiful painting. You're talking about the Art Gallery, San Francisco. I saw an absolutely beautiful, there's a woman with her lying with her back, long hair, uncombed hair, lying on a bed of mangoes. With just her back. I said, oh my God, this is the Naika.
Yes.
The mangoes are about fertility and the color and the ripeness and the hope and the promise of biting into it with the taste and the aroma and the juice. And yet she feels lonely, she feels isolated, So I remember
I can feel it changing, how the body can respond to something.
The body can respond to that. I happened to go with a dancer to that. One of the dancers you worked with.
Oh, yes.
And I was saying, look at this Abhinaya here. We don't see her face, but it's filled with Abhinaya. Just the idea of a woman, a back, unbound hair, and mangoes.
Beautiful. But do they take it back? Do they work on it? Like they want to put it on stage sometimes, I feel. They really want to get into the piece.
They want to put everything on stage. Yeah.
So, like when you ask for Riyaz, there's so much of me time in the Riyaz. Like I think this image, I've not seen it, but something has shifted in me now. And I'm doing this piece and I'm looking at myself lying and saying, okay, because in the Padam, there is a point when she's in the Varnam, And I said, what are we talking? We're talking bed of desires.
Yes.
But I don't have an image. And I said, oh, we're lacking image. I mean, that is how you want to go there and not really take this image,
Yes.
And you just go to that saying what happens. But I feel many of them don't do that. That is lost.
I
in
feel
them.
that there was a generation, say my mother's generation, who was very polytheist in a sense. They would go to museum, they would go to Western music, they would go to theater, they would drag me actually
Yeah.
everywhere. See, watch. I think today with the time and the pressure that the kids have, they're just interested, my dancers, they're interested in coming, learning the choreography and going.
Yeah.
And definitely taking a selfie before going of themselves. Group, then they'll tag me and then I'll just laugh. I sometimes share it
Yeah.
or I don't. But that is a mandatory thing they do. I understand, let them,
But I feel the politics of dance world also are affecting our audiences, Like there's so much of young dancers, but why does not watching dance become a part of even the 7 years of curriculum? That you have to watch 10 performances. Every arrangetrum, I feel the teacher should make it compulsory that watch 10 good performances.
Good performances.
And that
come back and discuss it.
Yes. And then do this arrangetrum. However bad you dance or good you dance, that's another thing, That you have to watch 10. I think something will move within them after the 10th performance of a good artist. Not their own friends. Like I tell my dancers, I want 10 performances, but I have to approve them. Don't say some dancer that you watched here. You watch young dancers, your friends, and everybody apart from that. But I feel you have to have a matured dancer to change something in you or transform something in you.
Do you think, Vaibhav, that it is because a lot of today's gurus are performers themselves? And a lot of them don't want, their students, if they go and watch other people, if they come back and say, I thought this person was very good, that the guru may feel a bit upset. If I'm only asking, I'm throwing this question
I've
at you.
been thinking about this. No, you're right, but both ways. I mean, before this generation, there were teachers, and there are still teachers who don't perform, don't allow dancers to go out. So
They
even
don't
then,
allow their dancers to go out and see other work. And if they go, they shouldn't talk about it. They have to hide it.
yeah.
And not even come and tell their teacher that I went to watch somebody.
So my own dancer, like I don't have many dancers, max 20, 10, 7, 8 who have been with for many years and some in training. And all of them come here for this. And I said, there's so much of excellence. And when they come in with me, I tell them, for 1 year at least, you to surrender to what I'm saying, because you have come to me and I have some vision and some truth in that vision, which I believe in. You understand this vision. After 1 year, if you say, I don't agree with you, you are free to leave. And we'll still smile and say, how are you and all that and discuss work. And I will respect you for that. And I'm not saying I'm the only right person. But this is a way to look at art. You at least find that entry points into good art, So all of them come here. And I say, if you want to shift to somebody, please tell me and go. There's absolutely nothing that I am the only person. And I said, all of us can do this. If I have enough, you have something else which I may not have. Absolutely great. And that's why art grows or dance is going to be beautiful. And also teachers, I feel. Any city, but that's the most difficult part. Imagine all these young dancers learning and doing that Gandharva examinations came for our performances,
Yeah. Also with today's trend of doing 2-day item learning workshops,
Yeah.
you don't really get into the depth of that piece.
True.
But I think there is a great attraction of learning from a well-known person.
Yeah.
We won't even go there now. I want to ask some fun things now. I want to do a rapid fire.
Okay.
Rapid fire. What would you be if not a dancer?
An actor.
Theater.
Theater.
Tea, coffee, or wine?
Tea.
I would say all three depends on time of day.
I know, but I still say if a choice.
Yes. Yeah. So, would you rather watch a movie or a theater play?
Theater play, anytime.
Would you rather listen to recorded music or attend a live concert?
A live concert.
If you had all the resources in the world, what is the one change that you would want to create in the dance world?
Just what we spoke about. If we can use the resources to create an audience, there's so much beautiful work happening. If we can just put it out there and watch.
I value the process of rehearsals even more than performance. Do you have open rehearsals?
I'm going to do it now. I don't have open rehearsals because I didn't have a place where I could do that. But we've been recently working in collaboration with this black box in Pune. We do a project called 345.
I know the black box.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 345 is every third week, fourth and the fifth day of the week. We have a dance performance happening. Most of the time, it's going to be our company because I feel repeat audiences and repeat shows are important. So some of our works have been there for 4 days, 5 days, or the new work that I'll do, probably just put it out there for audience to come. And it's a collaboration where he says even if 10 people come, I'm okay with it, Vaibhav. So an experimental work can go there. We don't have to have a pressure, and everything is given to you, lights and sound. So what more do you want? And anyhow, we're rehearsing every day. So let's go there and rehearse. So now I'll do an open rehearsal.
I find it very interesting.
Yeah, I've never done it, so I need to look at what
I do
will
it
I
all
put
the
out.
time. I do it all the time, and even
What's
for,
in the process?
My work I do in the process.
Okay.
Now we will be having open rehearsals for the next show, starting from 5 days before the actual show.
Okay.
Because every day, and the point is for my dancers when they see different people out there, even though it's in my studio, they suddenly get a little bit more.
Yeah.
The back straightens, and they have to give it their best. I feel that's important.
It
There's
is.
a certain amount of taking for granted that they have familiar space, same thing, and I step back, I look, and it's very interesting. Open rehearsals are very, very interesting. Anything further you want to add?
No, I just feel this need for audiences that we keep speaking about. I think collectively I've been wanting to speak to the entire dance community, saying we need to come together. We're going to lose this otherwise. It's easy, with all that is happening around us, that somehow we are not having one voice. And I'm talking going to the government and all that is. We have enough corporates if all of us have voice, but I said we are not doing enough to create audiences. We all love Margali, but we know it's pain, and we all want to be here at this time itself. But if we are not here at this time, also it's not working. Then what is the problem? And why are we not addressing it? So I think that is one of the most concerns that I feel, that in 25 years we'll have lesser and lesser audiences.
I also feel, Vaibhav, that the idea or the term curator or artistic director has to be relooked at in the current context
Yes.
of the field, because most of the people don't travel to see work.
Yeah.
And they're just from hearsay or now social media reels.
Right.
They're just programming people. So I feel that there is a big lack. I find, and I don't know if you find, that dancers in their 30s are just beginning to show seriousness and potential. They need guidance more than ever on how to program their evening.
Right.
Like in Margari, a 1:45 p.m. slot at Sabha, you must choose your items because everybody's falling asleep.
Absolutely.
After lunch. And the 7 p.m. slot. But dancers don't think like that. And there's so much that a good dancer can be even better.
Yeah.
If they just step back and look at the idea of reaching out to somebody with a little bit of experience. But I find there's a huge resistance. They like to talk amongst their colleagues, their peers, and they don't want to reach intergenerationally. Are you finding that?
Yeah, but as I said, they don't speak to you before, or if they speak to you, I think this is a speak to you for the sake of speaking. I don't know whether they take it like if I speak to you, I will surrender and say I will hear you out. Either don't ask you otherwise.
Yeah.
But I find they don't do that. So that's like the afternoon slot. Even when Gautam was dancing, and I said, just begin with a fast piece.
Yes.
And I said the Varnam speed also has to change.
Yes.
It's okay for a 6 p.m. slot, and I was dancing it. It's okay if it comes to a certain speed, but you're going to dance it only at this speed. It has to go. And then do a nice padam because people are awake. It's 1:45 p.m., whatever said and done.
Did you find a certain release once you turned 50 that I don't care about this, and I just have to deepen my own presence and process?
Yes.
So there's something very liberating
Absolutely.
about that number.
Yeah, I didn't realize it till I reached 50.
Yeah.
That there's something liberating, and also you're conscious of the body, dancing. And I feel, no, I have to find my dance. I have to be there. If they're going to watch me, I want an audience to come then. I will work for it. But even thought-wise of what I'm going to select, what I'm going to dance, how I'm going to move, all that is liberating. You find something different.
Yes.
But I think we should practice for it, not just becoming 50, Like tuning the body. I've heard you say this many a times, always. There are different ways of tuning and doing riyaz. It's not just the adavus and the margam pieces. There are many ways of looking at what riyaz would mean, Like this piece that you spoke of, the painting.
Yes.
When you take it into the studio and just look at it, it's riyaz because it's come with you, kinds.
Yeah.
So I feel we can enrich it. And I feel even for the margam pieces, I don't find we are maturing. At 50, I should dance it differently, I need not dance a Mugdha Naika, I feel. Because unless some people can carry it, but otherwise, why is Mugdha so important? What happens to the Pragalbha, which we have never seen? And what experiences you have lived through can come through only that piece. A young dancer can't do it. They can't hold silences. It's difficult. It's their age.
Yes.
And why should they,
Why should they?
I can't do what they do at 30s and jump around and create the dynamic
Yes.
dancing. But then why not work differently? Even that working shift, I feel, has come to me, and I feel, okay, let's see what comes.
So, what are you looking forward to in 2026?
Of not creating work, of looking at things. I really want to look at everything possible, as many plays, read a lot, and revisit two of my favorite pieces. And I know I have not reached what I wanted to when I did the show. But otherwise, 2026 is about reading, looking at things, traveling. I want to travel across India if possible.
Vaibhav, thank you so much for giving us this time. I hope the audience has enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for being with us on the Narthaki Podcast. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, I'm Anita Ratnam.